My experience, actually I spent about 8 years in China working within Alibaba Group, and we really saw e-commerce went from almost zero adoption to now it's the way that entrepreneurs do business. And so the way it's changing business is that the internet has given people a gateway, an opportunity they didn't have before to sell their products in a very inexpensive way to people all over the country they're in. And so what you see now, for example, in China, is that e-commerce has actually leapfrogged ahead, so that instead of opening a physical shop, in some cases people go straight online. And so you're seeing that it's helping empower entrepreneurs at a grassroots level throughout the developing world. Yeah, actually the biggest opportunity is really for the small, medium-sized businesses. They're the ones who really built e-commerce in China. Small and medium-sized businesses generally are quicker to adapt to new ideas, quicker to embrace e-commerce, and also in a way the internet levels the playing field for small and medium-sized businesses. So you can imagine if you're competing against a big retailer or a big brand, one way to have a level playing field where everyone can compete is the internet empowering these small, medium-sized businesses. So that's why you see in the West, e-commerce was often about the big retailers. But in China, it was more about small and medium-sized businesses using the power of the internet to meet buyers all around the country. The reason I'm passionate about e-commerce is because it's all about empowering small businesses and entrepreneurs, giving them a channel to find buyers that they never had before. Yeah, the important thing for small businesses to keep in mind when they start doing e-commerce is that first, a lot of the same principles in the offline world apply online. You need to have great service. You need to make sure that you package your product well and that you provide it in a timely manner, and that the way you describe your business and the products are all clear, consistent, and that your buyer is having a really good experience. That's true online and true offline. But online, there are other things that are really important, and that's that small businesses, in an online environment, you need to find ways to build trust with your buyer in a way that you wouldn't offline. Offline, you can see the person, you can look into their eyes, you can really gauge if this is someone you want to do business with. But in an online world, you need to make sure that you're giving the service levels that are going to get you good ratings, so that when people are searching online and they're trying to decide which retailer to buy products from, they'll look at your ratings and they'll decide based on that. So having good service that shows up in your ratings online is what sets you apart from the other competitors who are trying to sell the same product. So a small business that's going online for the first time to get involved in e-commerce, it's really important to realize that sometimes it takes a while to learn how to do it effectively. But one of the key things that makes small businesses successful is creating an organization that has someone dedicated to the online part of the business. It's a little bit different, and so often small businesses will choose someone from within the company who's very internet savvy, is really good at uploading great photos, putting great product descriptions on. Maybe that person can be focused on running the online side of the business. So having someone within the organization who can learn how to do it, how to serve the customers well, and making them dedicated to that part of the business is a great way to be successful. Often when people are just beginning to use e-commerce, they just try it out a little bit, and if they don't get results right away, they give up. But I can tell you that the pattern we saw in China was that some people tried it and gave up too early and missed out on a big opportunity and saw their competitors go online, take some time to learn how it works, and then be very successful in the long run. So what I saw in China was that originally people looked at the internet as a way to start just selling their products online a little bit, and it almost started as a hobby. But there's some case studies that are really interesting in China where people created entire brands of their own online, sourcing products, designing them, and selling them. So there was a woman that I met who had started shopping on one of the websites in China, and then she decided as a hobby on the weekend to start selling. Then she went on to design clothing, create her own brand, and sell it online in China. becoming a millionaire by doing it and selling a lot of products online through her own shop on a marketplace. And so this is the opportunity that you see now is only going to get bigger, and those companies or those entrepreneurs who embrace it and learn how it works now, in 10 years are going to be the millionaires. Yeah, so when we were starting with Alibaba and starting with the websites in China, we really realized there were two types of entrepreneurs. There were those who embrace change and chase after the opportunity, and those who kind of sit on the sidelines and missed out. And so what we really learned is those people who embraced e-commerce really early went on to benefit from it, grow really strong businesses, and those who sat on the sidelines really had to scramble to catch up down the road. So e-commerce, this revolution is inevitable, and then entrepreneurs have to ask themselves, am I going to be one of the entrepreneurs who grab this and grow a business, or am I going to have to catch up in 5 years? Because we all know e-commerce is inevitable. Yeah, an interesting development in China was that several years ago, businesses were deciding how should they expand. And the natural thing that sort of happened in the West was that retailers would focus on getting out physical stores into second tier, third tier, fourth tier cities, getting their products out to these stores to make sure it's out in the retail channel. And what really happened in China is people realized you need to go where the buyers are going, and the buyers were moving online. And the beauty of it was that for a retailer or someone trying to sell a product, you simply had to put your products online. You didn't have to go and build out that infrastructure to get your product out to different levels of the country. And so e-commerce allows businesses to leapfrog. You can get your product in front of a customer anywhere in the country without having to build out and put a lot of resources into building out a retail infrastructure. Yeah, there were really two types of businesses that were using e-commerce. One was the traditional business who decided to go online to open up a new channel, find new buyers in a new environment. But actually a lot of businesses started online from day one. So an entrepreneur with an idea, with a product, can actually store or put their products right online, and from day one they can have a purely online business. And so we saw a lot of entrepreneurs who simply had an idea, they went out, they found a product that they thought they could sell in their market and just put it online. So it opens up opportunities for new entrepreneurs who have no business experience even to build a store and start marketing their products online. The nice thing about online is that you can have a huge array of products, a lot of really specialized little niche products that maybe it wouldn't make sense to try and sell the product through a physical retail infrastructure offline. But in an online environment, you can find the people, maybe it's a narrow group, but across a whole country, it amounts to a lot of people interested. So we saw some categories where new product categories were created, or people who had ideas could come up with a product idea themselves. And the online opens up the opportunity for people working in really small niche products. But because a broad range of people across the country want those, you can start a niche product category online and see it grow in a way that you couldn't do in an offline world. Yeah, you know, my last year at Alibaba, I spoke at a conference, and one of the things I said is stop whatever you're doing and go and create a business that is related to e-commerce. Because what happens is not just the major online retailers or the major marketplace operators or the big retailers grow. Of course, these people all grow. But as the entire economy moves online, it opens up all kinds of opportunities for service providers. There are companies out there who maybe specialize in photography. Well, they can look to all the people who are trying to put their products online and sell them online. Or other people who focus on creating, creative or nice packaging. They can be supplying the different sellers who are using e-commerce. And so there's an entire ecosystem. It's not just the buyers and sellers who benefit. It's all the third parties who support this movement. So as you think about business ideas, you might want to think about what you can sell, but maybe you can think about serving all the different retailers who are beginning to sell online, because there are a lot of people who made very successful businesses doing that as well.